Listen, dating can be a lot easier than you think. I know it may seem like it's ridiculous right now and it's such a struggle, but I'm telling you, it can be better. But there are a lot of mistakes that people are making, and I'm going to tell you the biggest mistake people are making when they date. My name is Stefan Labossiere, aka Stefan Speaks, back with another relationship and dating advice video. And again, we're going to be talking about the biggest mistakes people make when dating. Before we begin, as always, be sure to like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel, and listen, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think is a big mistake. So, as I started off with this video saying, it can be easier or it can get better, all right? But we got to be mindful of certain things. So I'm going to lay this out for you, and I hope you really embrace the message, because if you make these adjustments, you're going to see better results. So with no further ado, number one mistake, and I'm going to give you a total of 7. The last one is what I truly believe is the biggest one, all right? But I'm going to give you a bunch of other ones you need to be mindful of. So number one mistake people make when dating, you're not being yourself. Listen, I understand there's a lot of videos out there, a lot of information telling you how to get the guy, get the girl, how to make this person fall for you and all these things, right? And I got videos on my channel about that, but I make sure I tell you in that video that at the end of the day, you need to find the person who truly loves you for who you are, all right? The person who truly connects with you, the real you, not your representative, not what you think you're supposed to act like, what you truly are. Now, granted, some of the things that you think you're supposed to be are things you should be working towards, all right? So like, for example, for men, tapping into your masculine energy is going to be hugely beneficial. And it is part of who you truly are. Same way tapping into a woman's femininity is for her, all right? How we communicate, becoming better communicators. These are things we should be working towards. But we have to decipher or determine what are sustainable changes, all right, and truly good for us as individuals, and tapping into our better selves versus trying to act like something that doesn't properly align with us, isn't sustainable, isn't actually healthy. Don't engage in those things. Don't engage in tips and tricks. Don't try to put on a representative. So, perfect example. Let's say you're a guy, and let's say you're a very modest guy. You're not into all the flash and expensive stuff and all these things. And you meet this woman and she seems like she's a girl that has expensive taste. Don't be trying to take her to 5-star restaurants and splurge on her to impress her when that's not a life you can sustain. Not because you may not have the money or may not eventually have the money, but because that's not your way of living. It doesn't connect with you. You're not going to want to keep doing that after you get her. So even if you get her, she's now going to become unhappy and you're going to become annoyed by her constant need for things that you don't see as valuable in life. Same thing as a woman. If you sit there and you try to get all dolled up, but let's say you're more of a conservative woman, you don't care for all that, you just want to chill, be at home, watch a movie, whatever. And you meet this guy and he likes these glamorous looking girls. And you're like, all right, I'm going to get all spiffied up or whatever you want to call it so I can impress this guy. All right, cool. So you get his attention and then you can't sustain it. And now he's looking at you like, what's this? I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for that other girl. What are you doing? So you got to really make sure that what you're bringing to the table initially is what you can sustain. And you want to make sure, again, that they are connecting with the true you. That's what's going to build you up for great relationships. But people make this mistake of trying to act like something different to only set themselves up for disaster. Do not let that be you. Another mistake people make when dating is not asking enough questions. So I see it all the time, men and women, where you become fearful of asking questions because I don't want to run them away, or maybe this is too soon, or, I'm doing too much. I may come off too strong. And the reality is that, listen, it's not the question you ask, it's how you ask it. It's like not what you say, it's how you say it. So number one, do not be afraid to ask questions, but yes, be mindful of how you're coming across. We don't want to interrogate people. We don't want to make them feel like they're being attacked, all right, or even being judged in that moment. We want to come off with an energy of, I'm trying to learn you. I'm trying to understand your values, where you stand, what you want in life, so on and so forth, to ensure that we are on the same page, that we want the same things, that we can have a healthy and amazing relationship together. But you cannot discover that if you are fearful of asking questions you are curious of. Now, some people may say, well, what kind of questions you should ask? Ask whatever you're thinking. Ask what's important to you. Now, I do think you should ask things like, what do they want in life? How do they view relationships? What's the role they see themselves playing in a relationship? What's the expectations, which I'm going to get to in a second? You know, we want to dive into all these different things. We want to think about what would we need to know, or what are we going to have to deal with in a relationship? Let's talk about it now. If we're dating and trying to date for the purpose of relationships, committed relationships, and marriage, let's think about what we got to deal with in that dynamic. Let's address that now. Like, I remember one time going on a date many years ago and asking a question of a woman like, okay, here's a scenario. Let's say at that time, I still do at times, go to a club because I like listening to music. When I go, you don't really see me dance, but I can sometimes start to dance. Anyway, that's a whole other discussion. The point is, sometimes I like going. And I asked her, I said, listen, so what would happen if we were to separately be at a club and someone wants to dance with us? Is it appropriate to dance with someone if the partner is not there? Or is there an issue? And so we discussed it, and we actually both didn't have a problem if, the other's dancing with someone not there, as long as it doesn't get disrespectful in the way that it's dancing, but simple dancing, harmless thing, not a big deal, at least for us. For other people, it would be an issue. Either way, I was thinking ahead of, okay, what's a scenario that might happen? Let's discuss it now. Let's ask these questions. Let's see how we would handle different things. Okay, if this happens, how would you want to handle it? Let's see if we have synergy right now and we see things the same way, or we can get on the same page so that when these things do happen, we're not fighting this new issue that we don't know how to handle, and we realize, holy crap, we don't see things the same way, and now we don't know if we can be together anymore because it's creating such a huge division within us. So just be willing to talk about everything and ask. But definitely, if something's weighing on you, weighing on your spirit, whatever, ask it. And don't be afraid, because the person who's serious about you, who's trying to have a real relationship, does not take issues with you asking questions. They just take issue, again, if you're coming at them the wrong way with the question. So that brings me to the next mistake people make: not sharing your expectations. All right. So I see so many times where people transition from dating to boyfriend, girlfriend, and even from boyfriend, girlfriend to marriage, never explicitly stating what they are expecting of the other in that next level of relationship, or even in the current level of relationship. All right. And so it leaves two people just basically throwing darts at the wall blindfolded, trying to figure out what's going to work, what's not going to work, rather than just talking about it. Or it creates a situation where you don't really know, or they don't know what you're expecting. Now they don't live up to this expectation that you have but never communicated. And now you're mad at them or looking at them like they fell short. But you never explain what you're looking for. And if we did that and did that early on, we might discover, this isn't going to work. So for example, let's just say a man says to a woman, well, I need a woman who's going to be able to hold down my household and, will be willing to make sure I got food in my stomach and whatever. And she's like, nah, bro, I don't do those things. That doesn't work for me. Let's find that out as early as possible so that we don't go through this whole dating process thinking everything is all good, only to find out I can't meet your expectations, or I'm unwilling to meet your expectations. Same way a woman might say to a man, well, listen, I want a man who provides or who does this, that, and the other. And he's like, nah, you got to pull your own weight. Sister, you better go get a job. Like, we don't do that over here. Who knows? That might be his way of thinking. And if it is, again, let's talk about it early. Why are we dragging our feet and dragging this along? We are delaying the inevitable. But also what we may find out is we may share the same values, or we may embrace the other person's needs, expectations, and desires. And now we see, okay, we can work with each other. We can build from here. So be willing to lay that out. And again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Just don't be like, well, no, you need to be doing this, and that. No, like, just listen. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I expect in a relationship. And this is what I am also prepared to give in return. So it's about stating your expectations, but also state and expectations and desires, as well as stating what you are willing to do. What are you willing to give? And the reality of relationship, it's not as much about what we are trying to receive. It's about what we're willing to give. All right. So basically, am I willing to give and pour into the needs of this person? And they're supposed to be saying, okay, am I willing to pour into the needs of that person? And if both of you can say yes, because you understand what each other's needs are, we good. But if there's a disconnect, if there's a no anywhere around there, why are we wasting each other's time? It's pointless. And if we try to move forward knowing we're unwilling to fulfill certain needs and desires, we are asking for trouble. I hate to say it, but I gotta say it. We are asking for infidelity. I'm not saying it's right or okay or whatever, but we're asking to set ourselves up for problems if we're gonna leave glaring voids in the relationship with what each other needs and desires. We gotta talk about it, be clear about it, and be willing to embrace it. So now my next mistake, biggest mistake that people make, or one of the biggest mistakes, and you probably knew it's going to be somewhere on the list if you've been watching me long enough. Not healing from your past first. All right? Too many people trying to jump back into the dating game haven't healed. Still carrying baggage and trauma from your past relationship, from your childhood, all right? From a lot of other things that are now negatively impacting your dating possibilities, all right? Also understand this. Not only is it a mistake because it makes dating harder, not only is it a mistake because you're going to drag in negative energy into this new relationship and many times hold this new person accountable for things they didn't even do, that they don't have nothing to do with because of what you already been through with other people. But more importantly, it is very likely to lead you to choose and entertain the wrong people. When we have not healed, when we're operating from a broken place, and again, I never say that to be disparaging or disrespectful or anything like that. It's truthful. Many of us have operated from a broken place various times in our lives. And when we're doing that, we are going to choose people who may seem emotionally safe. We may choose people that we feel like we have more control over, which is why someone who is, I hate using the word narcissistic, but it just came to me, I gotta say it. Narcissistic is looking for a situation where they can use their manipulation and their tactics. And yes, a lot of times when we get caught up with narcissistic people, because I want to make something clear, there are narcissistic men and women. All right. I feel like whenever society mentions narcissism, it's like it's only men. No. It's men and women. And when we get caught up with those individuals, we have to understand that, yes, there was very likely something in us that was not healed, that allowed us to entertain this individual and now be caught up in this situation. So either way, we have to be mindful that healing first is the key. Now, of course, I'm going to tell you, hold on, let me go grab it. Get the book, Love After Heartbreak. Click the link in the description. Click the link in the comments section. It's helping a lot of people. It gives you the steps to healing. It's like having one-on-one coaching, but in a book, self-healing. Trust me, it is going to be very helpful, but you need to do all the steps. A lot of people, it can get tough. I'm not going to lie to you. And they try to skip steps or remix steps. Listen, just do it as laid out and you're going to see results. But that's very important. It's a huge step if you want to change your dating results into positive ones. And if you want to increase your ability to receive the person who is truly best for you and be able to have a healthy, amazing relationship with somebody. So let's continue. Next on the list of biggest mistakes people make when dating, not being honest. Now listen, I gotta say this. I feel like everybody swears they're so honest, but I think we gotta be real with ourselves. A lot of us, we don't always tell the exact 100% truth all the time, all day, every day. I'm not saying there aren't some of y'all who may have always been honest. I don't know. But we got to be honest with ourselves. Sometimes, whether it be, and it may not be dishonesty for the sake of manipulation. It may not be dishonesty because you're trying to be malicious or do anything negative to somebody. But sometimes it's dishonesty due to a lack of self-esteem, due to a lack of confidence. It could be dishonesty because, again, we're nervous in that situation and we want so badly to impress this person. It can be various reasons why we may twist the truth a little bit, bend it, or just flat out say a lie. And it gets the best of us. Not every person who's told a lie is this horrible person. We're human beings. We make mistakes. We get caught up in certain moments. It happens. But we do have to understand that if we want better dating and better relationships, we got to get a hold of that and not lie. We got to be able to stand in our truth. Stand in our truth in who we are. Stand in our truth in what we desire and expect. Stand in our truth about what we're willing to give. Stand in our truth about anything else, how we feel and what we're seeing with this individual. The more we can establish honesty early on, the healthier we can make this relationship and the better chance we have of exposing who is for us and who is not. Not to mention that, the unfortunate reality is that it only takes one lie to ruin a relationship. Once you plant that seed of doubt, now you make it difficult for that person to trust anything you say. And again, this can happen in both ways because please do not be sitting here thinking it's only men telling lies. You got women telling lies all the time or twisting truths or whatever. We got to be mindful of that because especially in a world where people, especially when they become adults, have already been through something. Like the reality is that we at some point in life are going to go through some kind of disappointment, hurt, whatever the case may be. Of course, those who heal can now overcome that to where it doesn't linger. But because most people don't heal or don't realize the need for healing, because of those lies they've been through, now any little lie going forward is going to trigger them. It's going to cause a lot of distrust, a lot of insecurity. And so we want to create more open, transparent environments so that we can have healthier relationships. So again, I don't want you to beat yourself up because you may have twisted the truth already. You may be dating someone right now and you gave a little white lie. And I get it. But we want to establish honesty and truth as much as we possibly humanly can because that's what's going to create a much better, positive, loving environment in our relationship. And again, it helps expose who is for us and who is not a lot quicker. So it allows us to not waste our time, which is the wasting of time and letting these situations linger that really destroys the dating process. A lot of you have developed dating fatigue is what I call it because you've let people linger on longer than they should. You've let too much drama occur, and we have to be willing to cut things off. We got to be confident enough to cut things off, and we have to believe in the fact that we can let this go and know that better is going to come. Better can come, but we cannot hold on to situations or people that do not belong in our life because we are lonely, though I understand why it happens. Ain't no judging here. This is a no judgment zone on my channel. But I get it. I get why it happens, but I still got to tell you that, you got to be mindful of that. Be aware enough to where you don't get caught up in that loneliness, fear of starting over, whatever fears you have. Don't let fear get the best of you and allow you to stay stuck somewhere that you don't belong. All right, so we got 2 more to go. All right. The next one is not expressing desire or intention. And let me rephrase that. Not expressing enough desire or intention. So what I have noticed in all my years of coaching is a lot of people get derailed in their dating because they don't know where they stand. They don't know how the other person feels about them. They don't know how much they really like them. All right. And it's because a lot of us have become guarded. And because we become guarded, we are not as willing to be expressive about our like for someone, our interest, our desire in them. Now, granted, when it comes to sex, I think people are having a much easier time expressing desire for sex and talking about that. But when we're talking about real feelings, love, a genuine intention for someone, people hold back. They hold back, but they don't realize that in holding back, they're undermining the situation. And again, this happens on both sides. I've seen it happen with men. I've seen it happen with women. And I've seen some situations where both parties were holding back. And again, it just created a dynamic where they was like, okay, what's really going on here? And they would end up walking away, not realizing both of them were actually really feeling strongly for each other. But people are getting scared. And this is where it goes back to being confident and standing in your truth. Like, yo, if you feel strongly for someone, be willing to express that. I know there's this fear of, well, I don't want to be a sucker, or I don't want to be rejected, or, I don't want to, in some people's minds, give them that power, and now they have an advantage over me. But yo, there's no advantage if you're speaking your truth. That's your advantage, is that you can say, okay, I spoke my truth. I said how I feel. I know where I stand. And now I can require you to step up in that same way. And if you can't, now I can say, all right, this ain't going to work. Because I'm doing my part in being expressive. I'm doing my part in letting you know that I want you. But you got to do the same for me. And if you can't, what are we doing here? But don't be afraid, because I've seen so many situations get derailed because of that fear. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's expressing desire, or expressing enough desire, but also expressing intention. Where are we going with this? What are we trying to do here? And listen, though this is about healthy relationships and dating, and then dating to eventually get to marriage, yo, even if your intention is sex and sex only, like I know it's hard to just be real about that, because I know that doesn't go the way people really want it to go. But I'm just going to encourage it for the sake of, yo, let's eliminate as much confusion as possible. But I feel the need to say right now, and even though this video is for men and women, this is kind of more going to the women. Like, sometimes you meet a guy and he actually had intentions to see where this can go. And he actually had intentions to potentially be with you in a serious relationship. But somewhere along the line, it got thrown off. And then he was like, you know what? He doesn't see it going there, but he still wants to sleep with you. Now, I'm not arguing whether that's right or wrong or whatever. I'm explaining to you to help you understand that not every situation that ends that way started that way. And then internalize that, well, all these men wanted sex or whatever the case may be. No, some of them did want something more, but it went left somewhere along the way. Now, again, it would be ideal if we all could just keep it real when that happens. You know what I'm saying? But it can be a hard conversation to have. Like, to just say to somebody, yeah, I liked you before, but I don't see you like that anymore, but can you still sleep with me? Like, that's not easy. Again, I'm not saying it's right for them to not say it. I'm just saying that's a little difficult. All right. But I felt the need to put it out there just for the sake of, I think a lot of women have confused that scenario and internalized it as, oh, he was playing a game from day one. And it's like, that's not always the case, But anyways, getting back to the main point here, be willing to express desire, be willing to express intention. Giving that clarity is going to help things move forward, as well as help expose, okay, maybe we don't want the same things, or maybe we don't have enough desire here to make this work. And then we can move on to bigger and better things elsewhere. And now the last and the biggest mistake people make when dating, not trusting your gut or your intuition or your spirit. And we'll even say God, but I'm gonna leave the God part as a bonus. So let's put God on the table for a second. Gut intuition. Now I said gut because, I almost feel like the gut really applies to men, even though to me, gut intuition are pretty much interchangeable. But the reality is that we get that feeling inside, men and women. Even though I do feel like women, it's stronger for you, it's more natural for you. I do feel like, listen, as men, we've had times where we meet women and our gut tells us, man, she ain't it. But we find a reason to want to push forward or entertain this. Maybe it's because of sexual desire or whatever, all right? And a lot of times, it's ignoring that gut or ignoring that intuition that sets us up for disaster. So many people, if they just went with that, even if you want to make the argument that trusting your gut and intuition is not 100% accurate, I would argue that at the very least, it is much more accurate than all the other analyzation we try to do during the dating process. I would argue that at the very least, it would create more successful situations than it would ignoring it. All right. So for that reason alone, I would still say it at the very least increases the odds of success and making the right decision. Your gut, your intuition, your spirit is trying to talk to you and tell you this ain't it. Or Or it might be telling you this is it and you're scared. And you're like, what? Dang, this doesn't make any sense. Or dang, are you sure? I don't know if I can handle this. Am I ready? There could be a lot of other stuff going on. Either way, we got to learn to become more aware, more in tune, and more willing to trust it. We got to learn the difference between analyzing and letting fear guide us in our decision-making process versus that gut intuition spirit hitting us that's saying to us, yo, this is whatever it's telling you, all right? And I do believe that in doing that, again, we can eliminate so much time wasted. We can eliminate letting situations linger on that don't need to linger on. Like so many people miss the mark by ignoring it. And again, men and women, we all got it, but we got to cultivate it. We got to practice listening to it, trusting it. So don't just wait till it's a dating situation. In any aspect of your life, if something inside is telling you, yo, this isn't right, or don't do this, or do this instead, like trust it, go with it, practice flowing with it and see what happens. You know, and I'm telling you, I think more times than not, you're going to see success. But like I said, I want to leave the God as kind of a bonus because not everybody watching this may be a believer. But for those of you who are, I believe the not asking God about this person is a huge mistake. Like so many believers will include God in their careers, in their health, in various aspects of their life. But when it comes to dating and relationships, you're like, nah, God, I got it. Nah, I'll figure this out on my own. Nah, this is what I want, so I'm just going to go after what I want. Rather than asking God, is this person for you? Should you deal with this individual? Do you belong here? Maybe you got some more work to do for yourself. Maybe it's not your time yet. There's nothing wrong with that. I know it feels like, but damn, it's been a long time. I feel you. I feel you, okay? But listen, we got to understand. We got to go through a process. And sometimes our timing and God's timing does not line up. But I will tell you that God's timing is always better than our timing. All right? Always better than our timing. So learn to consult God in your dating and relationships. And again, you will save yourself a lot of headache and a lot of unnecessary situations and unnecessary time wasted. And you will start to see your dating experiences improve, and you will increase your ability to receive the relationship that is truly best for you. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. A lot of relationships begin because people ignore the red flag, and those same relationships end because of those red flags. I don't want that to be you. I want to help you and save you from falling into that